I have the biggest purchase in Walmart history. 4 or 5 TVs, I gotta go get printers, I gotta go get laptops, appliances, sheets, towels, underwear, t-shirts.
What do you do when you're too big to ignore, too talented to stop, and too smart to settle for just one lane? If you're Shaquille O'Neal, you dominate all of them. From breaking backboards and bullying defenses to earning a doctorate and building a business empire, Shaq was never just an NBA superstar. He was a thinker in a giant's body, a competitor with a long-term plan. While most players chased highlights, Shaq chased ownership. While fame came easy, he worked harder for longevity. Welcome to the untold side of Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal was born on March 6, 1972, in Newark, New Jersey, a city marked by struggle. His mother, Lucille O'Neal, was just 18. His father was largely absent, lost to addiction and incarceration. Stability was uncertain from the start, and Shaq grew up feeling that uncertainty early and often. Lucille worked relentlessly to provide, and Shaq learned responsibility young. Comfort was rare. Security was temporary. Childhood passed quickly. The turning point came when Lucille married Philip Harrison, a U.S. Army sergeant whose influence reshaped Shaq's life. Harrison brought discipline, structure, and expectations. He demanded respect, effort, and accountability. There were no shortcuts, on the court or off it. For Shaq, he became the father figure he never had. Army life meant constant movement. New Jersey, Texas, Germany. Each move meant being the new kid. Each classroom made his size more obvious. Shaq towered over his peers, but confidence didn't come with height. He felt awkward, out of place, unsure of how to control a body that kept growing faster than his sense of self. Early basketball offered frustration more than promise. At Robert G. Cole High School in San Antonio, Shaq's size alone wasn't enough. He was cut from the varsity team. The moment crushed him. He cried, then made a decision. He would never be dismissed like that again. Shaq committed himself fully. Long hours in the gym, conditioning, repetition, discipline. His stepfather pushed him hard, reinforcing that talent without work meant nothing. Shaq began to understand the game instead of fighting it. His movements sharpened. His strength found control. He didn't just grow bigger, he grew focused. By his senior year, Shaq was dominant. He led Cole High School to a perfect 36-0 season and a Texas state championship. College scouts took notice of the player they could no longer ignore. Yet Shaq stayed grounded. He remembered his mother's sacrifices. He remembered how it felt to be cut, to feel invisible. Those memories kept him hungry. When he chose Louisiana State University, it wasn't about spotlight or celebrity. It was about proving he belonged, about becoming more than a kid with size. Before the NBA, before fame, before the name Shaq echoed through arenas, there was a boy shaped by failure, discipline, and resilience. His greatness didn't start with dominance. It started with being told no and refusing to stay there. Professionally, Shaquille O'Neal entered the NBA in 1992 as the first overall pick by the Orlando Magic, and from day one, the league felt his presence. At 7 feet tall and over 300 pounds, he combined size with speed in a way basketball had never seen. He didn't ease into the professional game. He overwhelmed it. Backboards shattered, defenses collapsed, and the NBA reinforced rims because of him. Shaq won Rookie of the Year and turned Orlando from irrelevance into a finals team within 3 seasons. But Shaq wasn't built for small markets or quiet success. In 1996, he signed with the Los Angeles Lakers, stepping into the brightest spotlight in sports. In Los Angeles, he became the league's most dominant force, an unstoppable center who dictated games through sheer physical authority. When a young Kobe Bryant joined him, the pairing reshaped the NBA. Their styles clashed, but their talent aligned. From 2000 to 2002, the Lakers won 3 straight championships, with Shaq earning Finals MVP each time. At his peak, he wasn't just the best big man in basketball, he was the standard of dominance. Behind the success, tension grew. Conflicts over leadership, work ethic, and ego fractured the dynasty. In 2004, Shaq was traded, and an era ended abruptly. In Miami, Shaq faced reinvention. The league was evolving, and so was he. Teaming up with Dwyane Wade, he shifted from centerpiece to foundation, proving he could still lead without carrying everything himself. In 2006, the Heat won the NBA championship, securing Shaq's fourth ring and silencing doubts about his longevity. The final years of his career took him through Phoenix, Cleveland, and Boston. His role diminished, but his presence never did. Shaq became a mentor, a stabilizer, a living reminder of greatness. When he retired in 2011, his resume spoke clearly. 4 championships, 1 MVP, 15 All-Star selections, and an impact that reshaped how the game was played. Teams adjusted strategies, rosters, and rules because of him. And when basketball ended, Shaq didn't disappear. He expanded into media, business, entertainment, and education, building a second professional life defined by personality, accessibility, and influence. Shaquille O'Neal didn't just dominate a sport, he mastered transition. His professional life was never about staying the same, it was about staying relevant, powerful, and impossible to ignore. Now, let me take you beyond the court and straight into Shaquille O'Neal's empire, where power became ownership and wealth took shape. Shaquille O'Neal earned enormous money in the NBA, but his real wealth began when he stopped thinking like an athlete and started thinking like an owner. Across a 19-year NBA career, Shaq made approximately $292 million in salary alone, one of the highest totals of his era. For most players, that would have been enough. For Shaq, it was seed money. By the mid-1990s, Shaq was already one of the most recognizable figures in sports, and endorsement money followed quickly. At its peak, his Reebok deal paid an estimated $10 to $12 million per year, while partnerships with Pepsi, Icy Hot, and later the General Insurance added tens of millions more over time. Unlike many stars, Shaq avoided exclusivity. He chose mass-market brands, products ordinary people used, betting on volume, longevity, and trust. Still, Shaq made early mistakes. He has openly admitted losing money on bad deals early in his career. Those losses changed his approach. He stopped chasing checks and started chasing equity. Ownership became the strategy. By the 2000s, Shaq was quietly building a franchise empire. At one point, he owned 155 Five Guys locations, more than 10% of the entire company, before later selling the stake. He also owned 17 Auntie Anne's pretzel franchises, multiple Krispy Kreme stores, and dozens of fitness centers under the 24-hour fitness brand. These were not glamour plays. They were cash flow machines. In 2019, Shaq made one of his most visible business moves, investing in 9 Papa John's franchises in Atlanta and joining the company's board of directors. He also became the face of the brand's revival, launching the Shaq-a-Roni pizza, which generated millions in sales and donated over $3 million to community causes. This wasn't endorsement, it was leadership. But Shaq's smartest money was often the quietest. In 1999, he invested an estimated $250,000 in Google, an investment he later admitted he forgot about. Years later, reports suggested that stake grew to over $15 million, though Shaq has said his only regret was not buying more. He also invested early in Ring, which was acquired by Amazon in 2018. Further multiplying his tech portfolio. By the time he retired in 2011, Shaq was no longer just wealthy, he was diversified. Post-retirement, his income accelerated. He earns an estimated $10 million per year as an analyst on Inside the NBA, while continuing to profit from licensing, speaking, entertainment, and brand partnerships. He also launched his own restaurant brand, Big Chicken, which has expanded to 40-plus locations across the U.S., stadiums, and cruise ships. Today, Shaquille O'Neal's net worth is widely estimated between $400 million and $500 million, with most 2025 estimates clustering around $450 to $500 million. The exact number fluctuates because much of his wealth lives in private businesses, equity stakes, and real estate rather than cash. What makes Shaq's wealth story different isn't the total, it's the philosophy. "I don't want to be rich," Shaq has said. "I want to be wealthy." For him, wealth meant ownership over attention, systems that scale, and income that survives long after the spotlight fades. He didn't turn basketball money into luxury. He turned it into leverage. Shaquille O'Neal didn't just build wealth. He built infrastructure. So let's step inside where Shaq actually lived. When Shaquille O'Neal bought his first mansion, he wasn't thinking about resale value or market trends. He was thinking about space. Space for a body that didn't fit anywhere else, and a life that had suddenly grown larger than imagination. His most famous home rose in Windermere, Florida, inside the exclusive Isleworth Golf and Country Club, just outside Orlando. Shaq purchased the property in 1993, during his rookie years with the Orlando Magic, for approximately $3.95 million. At the time, it was already massive, but Shaq didn't stop there. Over the next 2 decades, he expanded it into a 31,000-square-foot mega mansion, custom-built for a 7'1" giant. The house became legend. It featured 12 bedrooms, 15 bathrooms, a 17-car garage, a 6,000-square-foot indoor basketball court, a recording studio, cigar room, custom theater, and a 95-foot swimming pool overlooking Lake Butler. Even the furniture was oversized. The master bedroom included a custom 15-foot circular bed. The estate wasn't just a home, it was a monument to dominance. When Shaq finally listed the mansion in 2018, he asked $28 million. The price dropped several times before the home ultimately sold in 2021 for $11 million. Still a massive profit from his original purchase, but a reminder that even giants must meet the market. During his Lakers era, Shaq lived just as boldly on the West Coast. In Beverly Hills, he owned a luxury estate complete with a tennis court, screening room, pool, and outdoor kitchen. That property sold in 2004 for $6.4 million when he left Los Angeles for Miami. Years later, the same home resold for close to $9 million, reflecting the lasting value of Shaq-era real estate. He also owned a second Los Angeles area home in Bell Canyon, a gated enclave favored by celebrities. Shaq purchased the 5-bedroom property in 2018 for about $1.8 million and later listed it for $2.5 million, showcasing a more restrained but still luxurious version of his lifestyle. As his post-NBA life settled into broadcasting and business, Shaq shifted east again. In McDonough, Georgia, just outside Atlanta, he purchased a sprawling estate in 2016 for approximately $1.15 million. Sitting on more than 14 acres, the home spans 7,400 square feet, with 8 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms, a private theater, gym, and even a barn. Compared to Orlando, it was modest, but intentional, quiet, grounded. In recent years, Shaq has also acquired homes in Texas, Florida, and Nevada, most priced between $1 million and $3 million. Luxurious, but notably practical. No more mega compounds built for spectacle. These homes reflect a shift from excess to efficiency. Shaquille O'Neal's mansions tell a story beyond square footage and price tags. Next up, machines built for a giant. Shaquille O'Neal doesn't collect cars the way most people do. He rebuilds them. At 7'1", Shaq physically does not fit inside most production vehicles. So, from the moment money entered his life, cars stopped being transportation and became engineering challenges. His collection today numbers 30-plus vehicles, many of them custom-built from the frame outward, because nothing off the lot was ever designed for a giant. The crown jewels of Shaq's garage are his Rolls-Royces. He owns multiple, including a Rolls-Royce Phantom, valued between $450,000 and $475,000, custom extended to allow his legs to stretch fully beneath the dash. He also owns a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, the ultra-luxury SUV priced around $350,000 to $380,000, which he favors for its height, silence, and sheer presence. One Rolls wasn't enough. In one now legendary moment, Shaq bought 3 Rolls-Royces in a single visit, dropping about $1.3 million after a salesman questioned whether he could afford them. Shaq later admitted he never even drove them. It was about principle. Speed still found its way into the garage. Shaq owns a stretched Lamborghini Gallardo, originally priced around $190,000. But after extensive frame extension and custom work, the total investment ballooned to nearly $600,000. The car was lengthened so dramatically that it became one of the most famous custom Lamborghinis ever built, proof that even supercars had to bend for Shaq. Muscle matters too. His Dodge Charger Hellcat, customized with Superman branding, cost around $85,000 to $90,000, while his Dodge Challenger Hellcat sits in a similar range. These cars weren't about fitting in. They were about power-matching personality. But Shaq's true comfort lives in trucks. One of his most recognizable daily drivers is a custom Ford F-65 O Super Truck, a commercial-grade vehicle turned luxury beast. Outfitted with leather interiors, high-end tech, and reinforced suspension, the truck cost approximately $120,000 to $125,000 and fits him perfectly without compromise. When Shaq wants mobile luxury, he doesn't reach for a sedan. He steps into his custom Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van, redesigned with reclining seats, wood floors, entertainment systems, and refrigerator storage. The base and customization together place the van around $65,000 to $80,000, essentially a private jet on wheels. Then there are the wild cards. Shaq owns a custom Apocalypse Ram TRX truck, armored and oversized, realistically valued between $500,000 and $600,000, despite viral claims pushing it higher. He also owns novelty builds like 3-wheel roadsters and custom EVs, simply because he can, and because he enjoys the absurdity of it. What makes Shaquille O'Neal's car collection different isn't the money, it's the intention. These cars weren't bought to impress strangers. They were built to solve a problem: how a giant moves through a world designed for average size. Every extension, every custom weld, every widened cabin is a reminder that Shaq never shrank himself to fit. He made the machines grow instead. For Shaquille O'Neal, luxury was never about excess. It was about freedom. In 2023, he bought his first private jet, a Bombardier Challenger 650, valued at $27 million. Built to seat 12 with a range of nearly 4,000 nautical miles, the jet allows Shaq to move on his own time. Flying it costs roughly $1.35 million per year, but comfort, privacy, and efficiency make the price irrelevant. When he isn't in the air, Shaq takes to the sea. He's regularly seen aboard luxury yachts ranging from 70 to 84 feet, either owned or chartered. Depending on the vessel, values range from about $3 million to over $100 million, with annual operating costs reaching 7 figures. For Shaq, the yacht isn't a flex. It's space, silence, and escape. Luxury also lives in the details. On his wrist, Shaq favors oversized timepieces built for his frame. Highlights include a $50,000 Cartier Santos 100XL and the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore Shaq Edition, valued around $40,000. At the same time, he balanced exclusivity with access through his Invicta collaboration, offering bold watches in the four-figure range. Jewelry came with lessons. Shaq has admitted spending tens of thousands of dollars on chains and earrings, sometimes losing pieces worth $60,000 almost immediately. Today, his most valuable jewelry isn't bought. It's 4 NBA championship rings, beyond price. Then there's the music. As DJ Diesel, Shaq performs worldwide, blending private jets, yachts, and luxury venues into a lifestyle where business, passion, and presence collide. Shaquille O'Neal's luxury isn't about showing what he owns. It's about removing every obstacle between where he is and where he wants to be. Talking about his personal life, at the center of it was Shawnee Nelson, the woman who became his wife in 2002. Together, they built a family of 6 children and, for a time, a picture of stability. But the pressures of fame, constant travel, and immaturity caught up with them. In 2011, their marriage ended in divorce. Shaq later took public responsibility for his mistakes, openly admitting infidelity and acknowledging that he failed as a husband. The divorce, though painful, remained relatively respectful, with both prioritizing their children. After the marriage, Shaq's love life played out more publicly. He dated reality TV star Nicole "Hoops" Alexander, a relationship that drew attention for its visibility rather than its longevity. Other rumored relationships followed: models, actresses, public figures, but none lasted. Over time, Shaq became more guarded, choosing privacy over spectacle. Controversy has never fully left him. Shaq's personal life has included public admissions of infidelity, tabloid scrutiny, and occasional legal disputes tied to relationships, none resulting in criminal convictions, but all shaping public perception. He has also faced criticism for comments made off the court, some of which he later apologized for, reinforcing a pattern: missteps followed by accountability. What defines Shaq's personal life now isn't scandal, it's reflection. He speaks often about growth, therapy, and learning from failure. He credits fatherhood with grounding him and admits that success didn't automatically make him emotionally mature. The humility came later. When people talk about Shaquille O'Neal, they see the size, the fame, the wealth, the mansions, the supercars, the endless deals. But Shaq's luxury life isn't about excess. It's about evolution. Talent opened the door, but discipline kept it open. Basketball was the beginning, not the destination. While the world celebrated rings, Shaq studied ownership. While others spent fast, he invested smart. While the crowd watched highlights, he built a legacy that would outlast the spotlight. This is luxury with intention. Luxury earned. Luxury that buys freedom. Not just for today, but for generations. Because real wealth isn't what you can spend. It's how long your impact lasts. Shaquille O'Neal didn't just win the game. He changed what winning means after it's over. If there's anything to take from his path, it's this: stay disciplined, stay focused, and never apologize for wanting more out of your life. Thank you for watching. If you're ready to keep growing, keep learning, and keep pushing your own story forward, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Your next chapter is waiting. Go chase it.